Over the next 2 minutes, I want to make you think about and reflect on the feedback that you give your students. Now, Wiliam has got a great quote on this that says that simply, the only thing important about feedback is what students do with it. And he also says that feedback should be more work for the recipient than it is for the donor. And if we just unpack those a little bit, that's really, really interesting that actually we get so hung up on how to give feedback, etc., etc. And I'm not going to talk in the next 2 minutes about how to give feedback. What I want to talk about is what Wiliam says, is that it's what the students do with it. If you're writing reams and reams of things on work and you're giving it to students and not doing anything with it, then that feedback is completely pointless. It's all about what the students do with it. And the second quote that I gave you from him is that actually it should be more work for the recipient than it is for the donor. And I know earlier in my career, I've taken hours and hours to write on essays and assessments, etc., and then actually the students have looked at it for 5 or 6 seconds, not done anything with it, and it kind of breaks your heart. So we've got to get into a methodology of how a student's going to use that. How are we going to plan for some time that when they receive that feedback, that they can do something with it. Think about it, if we were doing a skill ourselves and you were working with a coach in, let's say, a sport or arts or music, and you were given some feedback, you would want to then act on that feedback to try and make yourself better. So how do we give our students the opportunity to, not just let's hope that they do it at home, because lots of them won't. How do we give them the opportunity in class to use that feedback immediately to improve that skill? And another thing I want to leave you with as well is that actually grading work. Now, we are traditionally in a habit of kind of wanting to put grades and marks on work, but lots of the research talks about the fact that students then just get focused on the grade. They forget, and they're not interested in all the areas that they can do to improve. They're just looking at the grade, especially if they've got a target. So if I was a target C grade kid back in the day and I got a C, great, job done. I'm not going to get told off by my mum at home. Happy days. I'm not that bothered about what I could do to improve. I got my target. So think about when you can remove grades and remove scores and just have qualitative feedback that the students can action and act upon, so that feedback can make them do something different to improve either that piece of work or feeding it forward to the next piece of work. How can you use that feedback at the top of the next piece of work? So that's their actual objective, to use that feedback in their next piece of work. So really important. It's all about what the students do with the feedback, and that it needs to be more work for them than it is for you.